Oliver, I do not like olives, but I like Oliver Twist, and twisting is what I'll do, because I need to twerk, and if I twerk this head once ahead, I'm not Oliver Twist, but exactly what am I gonna do, as I'm gonna drink some water right now. Alright, so let's see, Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens, from chapters 1 to, 29. I wonder why it's 29 and not 25, because if we're going to go for half, why not 26? Because 26 times 2 is 52, and that's close enough to 51. But let's get this started with right now, because today I'm going to have Oliver Twist. Oliver Twist was born, well, we do not know what date exactly, because Oliver Twist himself does not really know. All we know is that he's 20 years old at the beginning of the story. Not exactly 10 years old, minus 1 year old at the beginning of the story. And when he comes back, he's minus 1 month old. And then he comes back minus 1 minute old. And he's like 1 minute old. He's born. And then the midwife takes the midwife takes a locket from him. Mr. Bumblebee has it. To be honest, the whole place has it. The owners of the locket now belongs to them, because they have no idea who the mother is, because they cannot find out the name. And because of that, it complicates matters a little bit too much. Now that happens, and what do they do next? They decide to do the thumb thing. Go ahead and keep the orphan baby. And so they do that, and then they send him to a place where babies are raised, and everyone, literally, every baby isn't fed enough. Or like the woman who's supposed to keep them well fed and stuff, like, food. I'll give you this crumb. I'll give you this crumb. I'll give you this crumb. While I take the whole 5 loaves of bread. Mine. You guys are stupid. Yum, 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 like that. So yeah, so the only good thing that comes out of this is that Oliver Twist learns how to solve problems by himself. His first problem that he solved by himself was when he was a baby, with his breathing difficulties. Also, I'm not sure he has asthma. He probably at least has some breathing difficulties, because babies have breathing difficulties, usually, at the beginning of their lives. Also, it usually sometimes lasts only for like a few seconds, to be honest. And so next up, we actually go to the fact 10 years later. After 10 years, Oliver Twist is grown up, and he's a nice kid. In fact, at 6 years old, he was sent back to the workhouse, and so, yeah, I guess that's a bad no-no for him. Anyway, so that happens. And so next thing that I pretty much know of that happens right now is the fact that nothing seems to go right for Oliver Twist. Here, we actually find out the fact that Oliver Twist and the rest of the people are like so hungry. In fact, the guy whose dad used to be a chef until the chef died was looking hungrily at everyone else, saying, if I don't get more food, I will eat the guy who's next to me. Literally. And when that happens, yeah, I mean, if cannibalism could come into tact. And then they decide, like, hey, we need to do something. We don't want to start cannibalism. So they decide to draw some sticks, and Oliver Twist gets it. Oliver Twist becomes the person who's going to go ask for more. And so he asks for more, and then the cook is like, I'll teach you more, bam, 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 and it starts hitting him and whacking him. And the Oliver Twist is immediately called for Mr. Bumblebee, who was like, yes, I knew this thing would happen. Yes, we're finally rid of this stupid urchin. I like him. Come now, permanently, own his pocket watch or locket, golden locket. Well, that happens. And then he's locked in, and then there was a sign put in out of the door next day and says, we'll give anyone £5 if they will take this Oliver Twist away from me. And then one guy comes and says, oh, you want to be a chimney sweeper? No, sir, please don't. No. I do not want that sort of kid. Bye-bye. And so he goes away, and then the greedy board is like, yeah, we never wanted to pay the £5 anyway. Well, we'll just put back the sign up there anyway. That happens. They put up the sign again. Oliver is safe from apprenticeship for now. And then a guy who goes ahead and goes for a professional child mourning comes in and says, I want the kid. Now give me £5. No, we'll give you £3 and 10 pence. £5 or I'm not taking him. £3 and 10 pence. Fine. What about £4? Deal? No. £3, 10 pence. Fine! Because he desperately needs a boy. And so that happens. And then they go away. They go home. Oliver is introduced to a guy who turns out is going to be a criminal in the rest of the story. His name is, pretty sure it's Noah. So that happens. Noah comes in and was like, hey, tan, your mother deserves to die. Your mother deserves to die. Punch. And then Oliver goes ahead, attacks him, and runs away to London. And it's 70 miles to London, to be exact. It's about 69 miles from London, from Mudbury. And it's like, so he took the 70-mile journey. And it took him 7 days, on average 10 miles per day, to actually get to London. And after all those 7 days over, he's actually really weak. And then he's about to sleep when then a guy comes in, calls himself the Artful Dodger, and says, hey, eat this. You look hungry, ma'am. Hey, I know a plan. Who'll let you stay free of charge as long as you work. Okay? Oh, sure. Thank you, Oliver says. And so they go home, go to a guy called Fagin, who turns out is a Jew. And then the Jew, as he's referenced until chapter 38, comes in and says, hey, want to play this game? Steal my hanky. That's the instructions. And so he steals the hanky and like, you're unnatural. Here, have a sausage. And that happens. And for the first time in his life, Oliver Twist actually might have had a really, really, really good and hearty meal and falls asleep. A few days later, after playing this game and being puzzled, and after thinking of handbooks that there's like, and their explanation of these pocket books, are like, we make them. And then they decide to go out, and Oliver Twist goes out and decides to go ahead and work. And he assumes it's pocket making, but turns out that assumption is incorrect because this happens. His new friends are actually thieves and criminals. And then Oliver is stunned for a few seconds and realizes what's about to happen to him and runs away. Everyone catches him. He's one KO'd in the face by a policeman, is arrested, and is about to be sent to jail when... ba-bang! The bookstore keeper, who was giving the wallets away, said, hey, I can vouch for him. His friends were the ones who stole. He was dumbfounded. He didn't even know these guys were thieves. And the jury's like, sir, did you actually see him steal the pocketbook, sir? No, sir. I'm like, very well. I free you immediately. What a waste of my time. Yeah. Mr. Brownberry comes home, takes Oliver home, and then nurses him well, because he's like in a feverish state. And so that happens. And then Mr. Brownlow looks on a portrait up above him and says, that's a family friend. And they look exactly the same thing. Oliver and the woman up above him look exactly the same face, and the hair, and everything. Even the expressions were the same for just a slight second. So that happens. And then the next time Oliver Twist goes out, he's given trust by Mr. Brownberry to return some money and some books to the pawn shop. And then, well, the Artful Dodger and Nancy kidnap him and say, my brother, blah, 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 and stuff, and like kidnap him back home. Say, £5, I'll take that. Hey, if you don't give me those £5 right now, I'm taking this money back and I'll tattle to you about you guys to the police myself. Very well. Fagin gives the £5 back. What a really, really, really bad criminal. That happens, and next up, Oliver is sent with a guy named Bill to go ahead and rob a place. And so Bill comes in and like, open the door from the inside. You'll have no idea how I will treat you if you don't. That happens. Oliver literally is shot because he warns them by accident. And they run away, but because Oliver's shot, he's left in the ditch from where Fagin heard about this. He's like, no! What, you stupid oaf! And, well, turns out Oliver recovered just enough to actually go back to the house. And the house that he was forced to, first to steal from. Which is a really big coincidence. And then he collapsed on the doorstep. The guys, the owners of the house, come in, nurse him back to health. And Fagin is told everything about what happened with Oliver, and no, go find Oliver right now, or I am smoldering, or I'm nicking you to the police. Well, maybe not the nicking part, because if he nicks him to the police, then he'll be nicked too. So yeah, he makes a threat, and they go ahead and go find Oliver. So that's basically the end of this episode, because that's about it, chapter 1 to 29. That's also probably the most main part of the story. The other parts from chapter 30 to 51 aren't really that well known. So I actually hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you guys soon in another episode too. And until next time, Shana now, peace. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.